Do you often find yourself doing things just to get the approval of others? Be honest with yourself. Do you believe that your value and self-worth are inextricably tied to how other people see you? External validation is the reliance on others' approval, praise, or recognition to feel worthy, confident, or secure. While social affirmation can be beneficial, an overdependence on it can lead to emotional instability and a diminished sense of self. This dependency often manifests as a constant need for praise, fear of rejection, and a tendency to prioritize others' opinions over personal values. Breaking free from the cycle of seeking external validation is a transformative journey towards self-empowerment and authenticity. This video explores the nature of external validation and its psychological, biological, metaphysical, and spiritual dimensions. It also shares philosophical insights and discusses underlying factors that can cause people to get trapped in the cycle of needing constant reassurance from others. Keep watching, because later on we'll discuss the profound benefits of cultivating internal self-worth. We'll provide practical strategies for overcoming a consuming need for external approval. From a psychological standpoint, the need for external validation often stems from early attachment styles and social conditioning. According to attachment theory, individuals who experienced inconsistent or conditional love in childhood may develop an anxious attachment, constantly seeking reassurance from others. Cognitive behavioral therapy suggests that this addiction is reinforced by negative core beliefs, such as thinking that you're not good enough. It's also reinforced by cognitive distortions. These include mind reading, in which you make negative assumptions about what other people think about you. It also includes approval seeking, in which you operate from a core belief that unless everyone likes you, you have failed or are somehow unworthy. Biologically, the brain's reward system reinforces validation-seeking behavior. Neurologically, external validation triggers the brain's reward system. When we receive praise or social approval, dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to pleasure, is released, reinforcing the behavior. Over time, this creates a dependency similar to other addictions, where the absence of validation leads to withdrawal-like symptoms. These may include anxiety and self-doubt. Studies on social rejection show that the brain processes rejection similarly to physical pain. That explains why disapproval feels so distressing. From a metaphysical standpoint, the need for external validation arises from ego identification, which is the false belief that our worth is tied to others' perceptions. Spiritual traditions emphasize inner sovereignty. For example, Buddhism teaches non-attachment, a process designed to free you from craving approval or fearing rejection. Taoism advocates wu-wei, or effortless action. In wu-wei, one acts without seeking external reward. Hinduism's Advaita Vedanta suggests that the true self, or Atman, is already whole and needs no validation. In mystical traditions, the concept of the dark night of the soul was proposed by St. John of the Cross, a Spanish Roman Catholic priest and mystic, in his spiritual writings. He describes this dark night as a phase where external validation loses meaning, forcing the seeker to find inner truth. Philosophers have long warned against the dangers of seeking external validation. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Stoics argue that seeking approval is futile because others' opinions are beyond our control. In existentialism, philosophers like Kierkegaard, Sartre, and Nietzsche posit that authentic living requires creating our own meaning, not relying on societal approval. Kierkegaard warned against conforming to societal expectations at the expense of personal authenticity. Nietzsche criticized the herd mentality, encouraging individuals to create their own values. These perspectives highlight the importance of self-determination and the dangers of allowing others to dictate one's sense of worth. In Eastern philosophy and spirituality, the Tao Te Ching, or Book of the Way, offers guidance on how to live in harmony with the universe. This text is foundational to Taoism. It includes this guidance: care about people's approval, and you will always be their prisoner. The pull toward external validation is not a personal flaw. It's rooted in our most fundamental human needs: the desire to be loved, to feel worthy, and to belong. When these needs are unmet, fear creeps in. Fear of abandonment, of rejection, of being invisible. And so, we seek approval outside of ourselves, believing it will fill the void. But this drive isn't weakness. It's a survival response. It's how we've coped. It's a response to trauma. This kind of addiction hides in plain sight. It disguises itself as ambition, as likability, as success. It's normalized, even celebrated. We're taught to chase validation like it's the prize, through likes, promotions, status, and perfection. But behind the glitter, it's a trap. It drains us, it disconnects us from our truth. And for many, it leads to burnout, anxiety, and a deep sense of emptiness. But here's the truth. You're not broken, you're awakening. Real power comes when we recognize this pattern and choose differently. When we begin the journey inward, we remember our worth was never meant to be outsourced. Healing is possible. Reconnection is possible. Wholeness is not a fantasy. It is your birthright. You don't have to play a game that was never designed for your thriving. You can unhook. You can rise. And in doing so, you light the way for others to do the same. You are not alone, and you are more powerful than you've ever been told. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated, "Success, recognition, and conformity are the bywords of the modern world, where everyone seems to crave the anesthetizing security of being identified with the majority." Why do some people become so over-reliant on external validation? Several factors contribute to this dependency. The first factor is childhood conditioning. Parents who only praised achievement and not effort may instill a need for constant validation. Conditional love and inconsistent feedback can instill a belief that approval must be earned. Factor number 2 is social media reinforcement. Likes, shares, and comments act as intermittent rewards, strengthening validation-seeking behavior. The third factor is a deep-seated fear of rejection. On a certain level, we have been conditioned to seek the approval of the pack. Evolutionary biology suggests that tribal belonging was crucial for survival. Disapproval once meant exile. Factor number 4 is low self-worth. Without a strong internal compass, people look outward for reassurance. Individuals with diminished self-worth may seek external affirmation to feel valued. The fifth and final factor is culture pressure. Societies that equate success with status, wealth, or popularity fuel external validation needs. Cultural norms and media often promote standards that encourage comparison and the pursuit of approval. Psychologist and author Dr. Gabor Mate wrote, Misplaced attachment to what cannot satiate the soul is not an error exclusive to addicts, but the common condition of mankind. So, now that you know all about the perils of constantly seeking external validation, how can you free yourself if you suffer from this affliction? What can you do to regain sovereignty of your life and your choices? Here are some tips that will help you escape that vicious cycle and find a better, more liberated path. The first tip requires you to cultivate self-awareness. You can achieve this via journal writing. Use journal prompts such as, "Whose approval am I seeking and why?" Also, pay attention to what sets you off on a validation-seeking spiral. Identify triggers. These may include social media or workplace feedback. The second tip calls on you to develop internal validation. Replace "do they like me" with "do I like me?" Practice self-compassion, which has been researched and pioneered by Kristin Neff. Self-compassion is a radical act of strength. It's choosing to turn your kindness inward. Instead of tearing yourself down when you stumble or fall short, you offer the same care, patience, and understanding you'd give to someone you love. When life gets hard, self-compassion becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded when the storm hits, reminding you that you are human, that mistakes are part of the journey, and that you are still worthy of love and support. The third tip is to embrace Stoic and Buddhist practices. Meditate on impermanence, focusing on topics such as "all opinions fade." Repeat mantras such as "I am not defined by others' thoughts." The fourth tip calls on you to detox from validation-seeking behaviors. Reduce social media use or post without checking engagement. Identify the ways in which you overrule your own wishes and preferences to defer to others. Say no to people-pleasing. The fifth tip encourages you to seek meaning beyond approval. Engage in activities aligned with intrinsic motivation, such as volunteering or creative expression. Study philosophers who championed self-reliance, such as Emerson and Thoreau. If you're hooked on external validation, breaking the chains can be challenging, but it's well worth the effort. Here are some of the benefits of that endeavor. The first benefit is greater authenticity. You act from your truth, not others' expectations. Benefit number 2 is emotional resilience. Rejection stings less when your worth isn't tied to it. The third benefit of freedom from over-reliance on external validation is that it can help bring deeper, more meaningful relationships. People respect those with self-assured boundaries. The fourth benefit is increased creativity and risk-taking. If you have no fear of judgment, you are more likely to innovate. Finally, the fifth benefit is spiritual liberation. You realize your essence needs no validation. Breaking free from a dependency on external validation is a journey of self-reclamation. By integrating psychological tools, philosophical wisdom, and spiritual practices, we shift from seeking worth outside ourselves to recognizing the inherent wholeness within. As Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The path to true freedom begins when we stop asking for permission to exist and start living from our own approval. Thank you for watching. If this content resonates with you, please consider hitting the like button. Comment down below to share your experiences with self-worth and over-reliance on external validation. Subscribe for more insight designed to elevate your path.